Tom Parker Bowles just dropped the most shocking revelation about Queen Camilla that's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about our beloved Queen Consort. What if I told you that everything, and I mean everything, you've heard about Camilla's supposed drinking and smoking habits is complete and utter rubbish? Buckle up, because we're about to serve you some piping hot royal truth that's more shocking than finding out the Queen's corgis prefer cats. Welcome back to Royal Cookies, where we serve up the juiciest royal gossip with a side of heart-wrenching humanity. Please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. So here's the tea, and it's not the kind Camilla supposedly drowns in gin. While promoting his absolutely brilliant new cookbook, Cooking and the Crown, Tom Parker Bowles decided to go full nuclear on the stereotypes that have been haunting his mother for decades. According to Tom, his mother has never drunk a glass of gin in her life. Doesn't smoke. I mean, can you imagine? All those years of comedy sketches, satirical shows, and gossip columns painting our Queen Consort as some sort of gin-swilling, cigarette-puffing caricature. And it turns out she's about as far from that stereotype as a vegetarian is from a butcher's convention. But wait, it gets better. Tom revealed that he's never in my whole life seen her even tipsy. Not tipsy, not slightly merry, not even what we'd call continental relaxed. Nothing. This woman could probably count her alcoholic beverages on one hand and still have fingers left over for a royal wave. Now, here's where it gets absolutely delicious, and I'm not talking about the royal recipes in Tom's cookbook. The man is basically saying that shows like The Windsors, you know, that brilliantly bonkers satirical series, have been about as accurate as a broken compass in a magnetic field. Tom is actively refuting portrayals of his mother as a heavy drinking chainsmoker, particularly those seen in shows like The Windsors. I mean, imagine being so misrepresented that your own son has to go on an international media tour just to set the record straight. It's like if everyone thought Benedict Cumberbatch was actually Sherlock Holmes in real life. Except instead of solving crimes, people think Camilla's solving wine bottles. But here's the kicker, and this is where it gets properly fascinating. This myth has been so pervasive that it's become part of the cultural conversation around Camilla. It's like a game of royal telephone where had a glass of wine at dinner somehow became drowning in gin at breakfast. Now, while we're all having a good laugh about the gin myth, there's something rather more serious lurking beneath the surface of Tom's revelations. The acclaimed cookbook author mentioned that being in Camilla's family was incredibly dangerous at times. And no, he's not talking about dodging flying crockery during Sunday roasts. Think about it. We're living in an era where every royal sneeze gets analyzed like it's the Rosetta Stone. Tom's essentially saying that the media circus around his mother created genuinely dangerous situations for their family. It's like being trapped in a house of mirrors where every reflection shows a distorted version of reality. The fascinating thing is how these stereotypes stick like superglue to a royal's reputation. Once the narrative is set, particularly if it involves vices that make for good comedy, it becomes almost impossible to shift. It's the royal equivalent of that embarrassing photo from school that somehow ends up in every yearbook forever. But here's what's really interesting, and this is where Tom's defense becomes quite touching, actually. He emphasizes that Camilla has always been, and this is not just PR, such a good mother. You can hear the genuine frustration in his voice, can't you? Imagine watching your mother, who you know to be caring, present, and frankly rather sensible, being portrayed as some sort of dissolute party animal. It's like watching someone describe your grandmother as a bungee-jumping daredevil when she's actually terrified of escalators. The disconnect between reality and public perception must be absolutely maddening. And here's where it gets really complex, Because as a member of the royal family, you can't just pop onto Twitter and say, actually, that's complete nonsense. You have to maintain that stiff upper lip, that dignified silence, while watching caricatures of yourself become accepted as fact. Tom's book tour has essentially become a one-man mission to reclaim his mother's narrative. It's like he's taken it upon himself to be the royal mythbuster, armed with nothing but facts and filial devotion. But enough about what Camilla doesn't do. Let's talk about what she actually does do. Because Tom's cookbook, Cooking and the Crown, isn't just a collection of royal recipes. It's a love letter to his mother's actual passions and talents. According to Tom, his mother's approach to cooking is wonderfully instinctive. She never uses a recipe. Now that's the kind of confidence we want to see. While the rest of us are frantically Googling how long to boil an egg for the 15th time, Queen Camilla is just throwing ingredients together like some sort of culinary wizard. Picture this. You're expecting gin and cigarettes, but instead you get a woman who can whip up a feast without so much as glancing at a cookbook. It's like expecting a tornado and getting a perfectly choreographed dance instead. What's particularly sweet is that both Queen Camilla and her ex-husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, attended Tom's cookbook launch to support their son. Now that's what I call modern royal family dynamics. Forget the stereotypes. This is a family that shows up for each other, regardless of past complications. It's like the ultimate example of mature co-parenting, except instead of school plays, they're attending royal cookbook launches. Rather civilized, wouldn't you say? Tom's cookbook features more than 100 recipes spanning from Queen Victoria to King Charles III, including stories about royal chefs and kitchens. Instead of perpetuating myths about gin-soaked lunches, he's giving us the actual history of how royals have entertained, celebrated, and simply fed themselves over the centuries. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know if you're Team Sophie or if you think I'm seeing green where there's just good fashion sense. If you're obsessed with royal strategy and environmental impact like I am, make sure you're subscribed to Royal Cookies because we're serving up the most sustainable royal content on YouTube. And remember, in a world full of fast fashion and royal scandals, sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is wear your values on your sleeve, preferably in a gorgeous shade of green. Sophie's proving that environmental activism isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become. Until next time, keep munching on those eco-friendly royal cookies.